Hey, Fran fam, welcome to the Francyne Walker Show. I'm excited about this show because my next two guests are two divas that you love to hate from the wildly popular show, The Have and the Have Nots. Sadly, this is the final and eighth season, and joining me today are two amazing women. The first guest is Angela Robinson, who portrays Veronica Harrington, and Renee Lawless, who portrays Kathryn Crier. We're going to be joining the interview in progress, but before we do that, check out what's in store for this season.
You've been there since the beginning. Now, see how it all ends. June 1st, Temptation Tuesdays return. One last time.
Do you have any idea how close to death you are?
As close as you are.
It's the fatal final season, and the wicked will be punished.
Do you think Hannah is a weak woman?
No, she is also a formidable foe.
Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots, the final season premiere event, Tuesday, June 1st, 8/7 Central.
Hello, ladies. What was it like to audition and finally meet Mr. Perry?
With me, the audition process was I self-submitted on an actor's database, and I sent in a self-tape, and next thing I knew, I had a callback, and then flown to Los Angeles for the final callback. And I was very nervous. I looked around the room at the other actors thinking, really wondering, why am I here? But once I had to get to work, that was where my focus went. And I had fortunately met Crystal Fox, who plays Hannah, in the elevator. So I think that helped our chemistry. Mr. Perry was at a table at the end. And to be perfectly honest, the whole time I was auditioning, I really didn't see him until I had gone to sit down. And then as the day went on, I saw him a little bit more. But I can honestly say, thank goodness for my theater background, I was there to do a job. I was there to get a job. I was there to act. And so I couldn't spend a lot of time worrying about what's Mr. Perry thinking on the other side of the table. Now, flash forward to after getting the job and actually formally meeting him, then that was almost like an out-of-body experience, I must say. It was a little bit of a deer in headlight moment, but it still is. I have to be honest. I still look at him and go, I'm talking to Tyler Perry. I do it after 8 years. I still feel that way. So that's my story.
I was in Atlanta doing Into the Woods at the Alliance Theater there, and the casting director and producer from Tyler Perry Studios they were both in the audience one night, and invited me to come and audition for Meet the Browns at the time. And it was one scene. I was so excited, worked so hard on that scene, and I did not get it. And so I came back home to New Jersey and proceeded about my life. And a year and a half later, they called and said they were doing the Haves and Have-Nots and thought I would be right for Veronica. So I laughed because they saw me playing the witch, and Veronica is a witch. So so people say. And so I put it on tape and submitted it. And the next day, they invited me to fly to Atlanta to meet Tyler and to read in person with some Jeffrey candidates. And so that was amazing. And I read with with Gavin, who plays Jeffrey now. And there was this voice, the voice of God in the back of the theater that kept saying, do this, tell her to try this. And it sounded like Tyler Perry, but we couldn't see him because he was in the dark. And when the audition was over, we flew back home and got the call the next day that I had gotten the part, but I never did meet Tyler. And I later found out that the reason why he was a voice in the dark and that he never met us was that he was filming a Medea movie, and he was dressed as Medea and didn't want to interfere with our audition. So
My word, I didn't even know that. Oh, that's wild. That's wild.
So how do you prepare to get into character?
You know, I have a punching bag in my living room, and I punch. No. You know, I think Veronica is more of an essence than it's more about her essence. And so, you know, her lines can be brutal, but I think it's, for me, the preparation came more in developing her essence, being sure that I stay cool under pressure, being sure that I don't show too much emotion. And so those are things that I sort of work on throughout the day. When something is funny, not laugh. When something is sad, try not to cry. Those are things that I try to work on with regard to her essence, because I think that's all you can do. And then the rest comes out, you know, with the lines in the moment. But otherwise, I don't prepare for the evil. And you guys call her evil. I don't. I don't think she's evil.
How would you describe her, Angela?
Complicated. I think she's complicated. She's a very complex person, and she does have issues, but they're from real things. It's not crazy. I spent, I guess, 6 seasons defending her and making sure no one called her crazy. She's not crazy. She's not crazy. Why would you call her crazy? And then around the 7th season, I read the script and I thought, she crazy. No. So I go back and forth, but the reason why I fought it, and I'll tell you why, because I think in life, especially in drama, men are allowed to do all those things: blow up houses, have people killed, blackmail people, and the audience calls them ruthless. And when women do it, they're crazy. So I fought being called crazy and evil. And I would always say, no, she's ruthless. She gets what she wants, and she doesn't lie, and she tells the truth. And when she says she's gonna kill you, she kills you. You know, she is ruthless. So I stand by it, but she does have crazy tendencies.
Great point. Renee, how do you model your character, or who do you model your character after?
In the beginning, and then it's evolved to other things. But in the beginning, our show was loosely based on Tyler Perry's movie, The Family That Prays, Preys. And my Kathryn role was kind of modeled after the, what is her name? Kathy Bates. Thank you. After Kathy Bates. So not necessarily from that particular movie, but I drew a lot of my initial musings from her. But when I read the character breakdown initially before the audition, I remember I was kind of laying in bed, looking on the computer, and I sat up and I went, I know this woman. There was a lot about her that I had experienced growing up. I had seen those kind of Southern women, that kind of, upper class type person. I mean, I didn't hang with them, but I knew who this person was. So I drew a little bit from Kathy Bates. There's, I can't really say that I drew from a specific individual. It was more of a combination of things that I had experienced growing up. But then I just intuitively got her. it's really no other way to explain it. I really intuitively got her. And my goal was trying to humanize her, because in many ways she can come across very staunch. Oh, I also drew a little bit from Jane Wyman during Falcon Crest years. Probably some of you all weren't around during those days, but Jane Wyman was a very big influence, that Falcon Crest character, if you ever knew that. So, so my concentration was actually giving her a little bit of humanity, and not being this just statuesque figure.
How are you both similar to your characters, and what's next after the have and have nots?
We look alike. That's about it. Veronica and I look similar, but we don't, I love fashion. She loves fashion. And I always like to say, everybody, and I mean everybody, has a little Veronica in them. No matter, whether they want to admit it or not. The things that separate people from being Veronica, I like to say, is Jesus and a good home, a good upbringing. That's about it. If you didn't have those two, you could potentially blackmail and blow up some houses too. So everybody has a little bit of Veronica in them. But other than that, we don't have that much in common, because I think the one thing that Veronica has through-lined from the beginning to now is that she is extremely controlling, and she is a perfectionist, and I'm neither. So there you go. And the last one was, what are we looking forward to next? Everything. I'm looking forward to everything. I'm looking forward to getting back on Broadway. I'm looking forward to writing the book that I want to write. I'm looking forward to having more time with my family. I'm looking forward to continuing to cheer my castmates on and the things that they're doing. I love shows like Friends and other shows when a group of people work together and then they separate and they soar. It's like a flower and they're all over the place and they do all this wonderful work and they cheer one another on. And then one day they come back together to celebrate the work that they did. So I'm just looking forward to being there to cheer on my castmates and to continue to do good work with good people and make a difference in this world with my work. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to keeping on, and still honoring the work that we've done in the past 8 years.
A lot of mine is a lot of what she said I'm going to echo. I forgot, what was the first thing? It's going to be hard for me to let go of Kathryn. She will always have a place in my home somewhere, even if she's just on a shelf somewhere. I will draw strength from her because she gives me strength in my life. So you ask how we're similar, unlike Veronica and Angela, which I will ditto. Fashion is about the only thing they have in common, and they are 180 degrees apart. I will ditto what she said. Angela is the sweetest, kindest, most wonderful humanitarian person on the planet. So I will reiterate that with her. As far as Kathryn and I, we do have similarities in that we are both women of a certain age, and we both fight that. We don't like the fact that we're getting older, that it might show that we may not be as attractive to our husband or to our boyfriend or significant other. We both complain about our weight. I don't have $250 million, so we're not that similar. However, I do have a moral compass, and I do have Jesus in my life. And I do love my family, which I think if Kathryn actually had Jesus in her life, her entire trajectory would be different. But in those ways, that's how Kathryn and Renee are the same. We're both, I think we both had the same personal little hangups, but yet she's got the money and the wealth to kind of go about and kind of hide that and get rid of it that I don't. I deal with my inner turmoil, I think, a lot more than she does. I sit there and analyze it and break it down, and I can come out of it. She carries it on her back a lot. And as far as the next one, what do I look forward to? I look forward to that next acting adventure. I look forward to getting, like Angela said, back into theater or another television project. But I also have been increasing speaking engagements. I also am, I think we've talked about, I enjoy crafting, and I've got some projects that I'm trying to pitch. But I am reiterating a little bit what Angela says. It is good to see other castmates sprouting their wings already and going into other projects, and to be able to applaud them and go to their premieres and cheer them on, like I know we will all do for one another when that moment happens with us. And we've been doing that all along. You know, some of us have been in other projects while we've been doing the Heaven Have Nots, and we've gotten on planes, we've flown to see them in something or go to their premieres. And we genuinely love each other so much as a family. So cheering each other on is good. But I can't wait to see what doors the Lord is opening for me and everyone. I feel like the sky's the limit, and it doesn't matter that we've had a moment for the plague. The world is still spinning. Life is still going on. Entertainment is opening and back up. Theater's opening back. Films and movies and all these things are still happening. And so I can't wait to see what's next. Well, remember,
name one of the funniest bloopers from the show.
remember the scene when Jeffrey stabs
I was going to say that.
I'm supposed to be on the couch mourning the death of my daughter, and Crystal Fox's hand is sitting there, and she's supposed to be calling the police or the ambulance or something, and she's got this dry lines like, oh, it's a scratch. I mean, she's just saying this stuff. And this one over here is being dead serious, full in character as Veronica, with this knife sticking out of her chest. And Jeff, and all I could do was laugh. I could not get in the moment. I could not stick her. And Angela's going, I need you to stay in this. I need you. And every time Chris opened her mouth, I'm like, and Tyler was getting mad, and I could not. I had the biggest case of the giggles, because just sitting there with Hannah playing deadpan and this knife sticking out of her chest was the funniest thing I had ever seen. And I was just howling. So that's my blooper moment. But laughing. It's a wonder we shot that scene. It is a miracle, because I was laughing so hard the whole time.
That's actually the one I thought of when you say blooper. We
really don't.
I don't think we have bloopers that much. I mean, listen, Tyler directs every episode, so we're serious when we're on set.
It's not a Medea fun time at all.
No, we're not. No, we don't have that many blooper moments. But that one, I remember the laughter with me sitting there with the knife in my chest, trying to, you know,
he was trying to be
character. I definitely remember that one. And you know what I will say that was kind of funny now, but wasn't funny in the moment, was every season, almost, I thought I was dead. Every season. And I would call Renee and say, I think this is it. I think I'm gone. I'm a goner. From the car accident to the stabbing because it was always like a season finale or something. And we didn't get the next season until the next season. So I spent hiatus almost every season going, I gotta find a job. And sometimes Tyler will say, no, you're not. But we spent every season that way. So the season that I was drowned, the entire cast came to the drowning because we thought that was it. And we cried and we held each other and it's been so nice to know you. So I find those, now looking back, I find those moments funny, also lovely, but very funny because it's done. But in the moment, it was just heart-wrenching every time.
Too funny. Okay, Renee. Fans want to know whatever happened to Amanda.
Oh, for Pete's sake. She killed herself. She killed herself. I think there was probably a moment at one time that Tyler maybe had entertained an idea that he might go in that direction of a story that she didn't. But I think it was just to keep the audience guessing. She killed herself. Nobody killed her. She killed herself. And I don't know. And I think Tyler would reiterate this. I don't think he's going to, I'm not speaking out of turn because I do know coming up, we don't hear anything about it. So, but I get asked it all the time. People sit there and they'll message me. They text me on social media and they go, are we ever going to find out what happened to Amanda? I'm like, she killed herself. And so I think it was, in my storyline, I think it's the DA and everybody messing with the Criers. I think it was to just completely throw them and mess and throw a wrench into their planning to try to bring us down. You agree with that, Angela? You think? I never, I'm like, she shot herself. There wasn't nobody else in the house. So you can write that down.
So Renee is one of these people that she's very kind of type A, and so if she says she killed herself, she probably definitely killed herself because she goes through the scripts like, there's no way, because she couldn't have gotten through the back door because the back door was closed because I locked it, and the side door was, and the window wasn't open because I checked and we were on the scene, and I talked to props and I asked them if the window was open, could someone get in it, and there were no prints on the phone. She's one of these. Every detail.
I know every detail. I know mine. I know yours. I know everybody else.
And we start guessing about, okay, so what do you have? When I would be scared I was dead, she'd go, you're not dead because you can't be dead, because if you're dead, then the next scene you wouldn't be able to. Yeah. So if she says she killed herself,
What can you say to the huge fan base that is no doubt sad to see the show end?
I said I was not going to cry today. My message to the fans is we are here now because of you. We would not have made it 8 seasons without you. And you have afforded us 8 seasons of some of the most memorable, glorious times of my life. As far as going into this final season, I always say it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and there ain't nobody fat. So I hope that down the road somewhere we have that reunion and we all come back to visit, or a movie or something. But going into this final season, I can say enjoy every episode, enjoy every minute, and know that we gave it our all, and we have valued you as much as you have valued us.
I have nothing more. That was what I think too. We love you. You changed our lives.
Okay, before we close, one final question. What do you think the legacy of this show will be?
Anything is possible. The show, golly, I'm a little speechless. I don't really, the legacy is a testament to the brilliance of Tyler Perry. He had never written anything like this before he did his movies. He had never written a series like this. And we knew we had something great, but the fans realized we had something great. And the fact that fans still can quote dialogue for 8 years is the legacy. How many people, think about how many shows out there do you quote dialogue from? Our fans are constantly quoting our dialogue. And I think that's a powerful legacy, a powerful testament that when this show goes off the air, people will still be quoting the 9 speech, still will be saying simple bitch. People will still be remembering the lines from the characters. They're still going to remember. Do you remember that time she slapped this person? I mean, we're used to doing that with movies, but how many TV shows can say that? And I know people that don't even watch the show anymore, that watch it like the first couple of seasons, and they still stop you on the street and you think they've been watching all along. No, they moved on to something else, but they still love you, and how many people can still do that? That's the legacy, the brilliance of Tyler Perry's writing to bring together this eclectic cast that we all instantly gelled. We instantly became an ensemble. And we were able to bring his vision to life. And you, the fans, embraced it, held on to it, and are now continuing to quote it. I'm sure Miss Thing will give you a much more eloquent answer than that.
Thing don't have, no, that was it. I mean, I think that I think we'll have to wait and see, right? We'll have years and years and years down the road to see what the legacy becomes. But I don't think you've seen, just as the Cosby Show, the Brady Bunch, Gilligan's Island, and all of those shows became such hits after they were long off the air. I think that there's so many people who hadn't, bitten the apple yet that are going to, and that are going to fall in love with the haves and the have-nots. And so I think it's going to be its staying power. I think it's going to be its ability to speak into the lives of everyone. There was something in this show for everyone, rich or poor, black or white, gay or straight. There was something in the show that everyone could relate to. So I think that is definitely going to be a part of its legacy. And listen, I hope it also is a show that created artists that are going to speak to you in different forms and different on different shows and vehicles for decades to come. So, I hope that we all have a body of work that is admirable and we come back together. And so our careers become a part of its legacy because, we started on haves and have-nots. But I think we'll see what its legacy is. But I truly agree with Renee that a large part of it will be Tyler. And it's already happened. Tyler's way of working has already influenced the entire industry. The way that he came back after the pandemic, influenced the entire industry, and in terms of the way they came back, the way that he worked with us in the beginning, and the time, the way he was able to do it quickly. It's already influenced the industry. So I think the legacy is definitely going to be tied to him and the way that he works, and those lines, those one-liners that are going to be around forever. So yeah, I pinch myself, man, to think that I'm going to be a part of, 15 years down the line, and someone saying, "That's Veronica." I'll be like, "Ooh, where?"
Thank you, ladies, for being a part of the last lunch of the last season of the Have and Have Nots, which airs tomorrow, June 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the OWN network. I just want to wish you both well, and we look forward to seeing great things from you. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.